Thoughts on the Bible readings: 1 Samuel 31 and Jeremiah 6 and Matthew 17. For July 16th, 1 Samuel 31 records the sad end to Saul's life as he and his sons were all slain on Mount Gilboa. Saul died as he had lived a great warrior for his people, Israel. The result had been told by the medium at Endor during the previous night. He was mortally wounded by the Philistine archers. Saul, knowing that he couldn't survive, asked his armor-bearer to take his life. But that man could not lift his weapon against Yahweh's anointed. So Saul perished by thrusting his own sword through his heart lest the Philistines abuse him while he was still alive. Saul's armor-bearer died in like manner. The Israelites in the nearby towns fled and left their villages to be spoiled by the victorious Philistines. Verses 8 to 10 says that the day after the battle the spoilers took the spoil from the battlefield. They beheaded Saul and sent his armor to their towns before that armor was placed in the house of Ashtaroth, and Saul's body, and those of his 3 sons, and fastened them to the wall at Beth-shan. When the warriors from Jabesh-Gilead heard of this, they valiantly came and took Saul's body and those of his sons from the Philistine garrison, and carried them to Jabesh-Gilead, where they burned before burying those warriors under a tamarisk tree at Jabesh-Gilead. The bravery shown by the mighty men of Jabesh-Gilead was by way of recompense for Saul's saving that city at the start of his reign. There is also a 2 in 3 probability that Saul's ancestors may have been from Jabesh-Gilead. See Judges 21 verses 7 to 24. After burying those heroes beneath a tamarisk tree, those brave warriors from Jabesh-Gilead mourned for 7 days. In Jeremiah 6 verse 1 to 5, God speaks of the impending doom that would come on Judah from out of the north, from the Babylonian shepherd kingdom. The Lord's people are told to flee or be prepared to fight. Verses 6 to 8 describe the siege mounds that would be brought against the guilty people who had treasured up destruction by their actions. See Romans 2 verses 1 to 11. In word pictures their wickedness is spoken of, a well holding bitter water, and as a sick and deteriorating body. For these reasons the Almighty will bring desolation to the land. Verses 9 to 10 speak of the punishment as leaving but a few grapes after the gathering and then the gleanings. Verses 10 to 13 speaks of their sovereign pouring judgment upon his people out of the cup of his anger. Jeremiah 1 verses 9 to 10. The civil and the religious leaders are seen as trying to heal the nation's incurable disease. In verses 14 to 15 these leaders prophesy of a time of peace, when the wicked ways can bring only war. Isaiah 57 verse 21. Verses 16 to 21 tell of the Lord appealing to his children to find his ways through his prophets' counsel, but they stubbornly refused. So the Almighty must bring discipline to his family. These people do not want to change. Instead, they think that as long as they offer their God incense and offerings, he will accept them. But no external worship is a substitute for true worship from their heart. In verses 22 to 26 the cruel and relentless Babylonian army is presented to Judah. Judah will be reduced to sackcloth in the day of the Lord's anger. In verses 27 to 30 God speaks of himself as a refiner of precious silver. When their sovereign has refined his people in the crucible of affliction, they will be seen to be worthless dross. We too are tried by affliction, and what will the Almighty reveal to us about our character when we are tried? Pause and ponder. In Matthew chapter 17 we focus on an event known as the Transfiguration. It occurs in each of the Synoptic Gospels: Matthew 17, Mark 9 verses 2 to 8, Luke 9 verses 8 to 36. It was a revelation of Jesus in transcendent glory. Its significance belongs to the kingdom age. Our Lord Jesus Christ is resplendent in glorious white glistening robes. Mark tells us that this glory and righteousness surpass that attainable by any person. This is telling us that the glorious and righteous character of our Lord was unique and sustained by God's workings. Our Lord Jesus was seen together with Moses, representative of the law, and Elijah, for the prophets. But their glory was inconsequential when compared to that of our Lord Jesus Christ's. In addition to all of this was the commanding and imperious voice of Jesus' Almighty Father announcing to those apostles, and to all, including us, "This is my beloved Son in whom I am well pleased, hear him." After coming down from the mount, Jesus told his disciples that their failure to cure the epileptic boy was because their faith needed to grow and develop like a grain of mustard seed. After this, Christ again told his apostles of the great trials which lay ahead of Jesus. These sufferings would culminate in his offering on the tree, and that on the third day he would be raised from the dead. Let us look at Peter's timeless commentary on the Transfiguration in 2 Peter 1 verses 13 to 20. Pause, and ponder and reflect.